Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome back after Pesach. I hope everyone had a great Pesach, Passover, all that good stuff. Baruch Hashem. It's very nice over here in Israel. And it's time to start making videos again. So today is Thursday, April 8th. We are going to finish reading Rav Shmuel Horowitz's journey to Uman. We did like 3 videos on it. I think today's going to be the last video. Maybe we'll do his journey back to Tzfat, but I didn't finish reading that part yet, so I'm not sure. But yeah, and also I got a new computer, really awesome new MacBook Pro. So I'm using the camera on it, just testing it out, and it's looking pretty good. So anyway, if you haven't watched the first 3 videos to hear the story of where we're up to, just a short recap is that Rav Shmuel Horowitz was a Breslover from Tzfat. He was not born Breslov. He became Breslov later on in life. He had a lot of pressure. His wife left him, and there was a lot of people trying to convince him basically his whole entire life not to be Breslov, and he did not care. He just wanted to be Breslov and to do Ratzon of Rabbeinu Zal and everything like that. And he decided that if his wife's not coming back, for the time being, they were just separated. They didn't get divorced. She's just going to go to Uman, and he did. And I mean, we're not up to there yet, but yeah, basically he traveled to Poland, and then from there he had to cross the border into Russia. And the last video, it's a really awesome story. You should really watch the first 3 videos. But anyway, we're up to the part where they just crossed the border into Russia, actually walked in a circle back towards the border because they didn't know where they were going, and then they figured out where they had to go. So now they're on a wagon to go from city to city to get to Uman, because remember, they're all the way on the other side of what we know today is Ukraine. So yeah, they were probably pretty far from Uman. But anyway, so it says Vichipasnu achar agala. We looked after a wagon to take us to Krasantov, a different city, and we couldn't find any. And we walked on our feet, and we were very scared, obviously, because they were scared that they would see them. Everybody who they came across knew right away that they had crossed the border. Their accents or whatever it was, or they just knew because they knew everybody was there. So they were scared. But Hashem had Rahmanas that a wagon did come, and we came into the city. And we came off, and it says over here, Ve'ein bal nes makir beniso. He says the person who a nes happens for doesn't recognize that a nes is happening for him. Why? He says that if we would have gone a little bit further from the place where we got off from this wagon, right? Because there was a Jew there who was a communist who lived over there, and he was not a good Jew, obviously. He was a very evil Jew, and he would report Jews who crossed the border, probably. And if he saw us, he would probably put us in jail. So, anyway, it was a good thing that we didn't go any further, and we stopped off at this city. And then a different case happened, that right away a different Jew came, and he took us on a different way, and he took us to the Beis Medrash. But this house of this communist was actually right across from the Beis Medrash, and we couldn't even go out at all. We had to stay inside and hide. We were scared to even sleep there at night, but we did. And I slept under a table. And in the morning, a crazy meshuggah came. He was screaming, here's the people. He was just saying to them, like, oh, these are the people, these are the people. So we thought that he was, that he was like this guy who's going to tell on us, like a moiser, right? But he wasn't. He was just a crazy guy. And in the morning, we snuck out again, and we went on a wagon to the city of Slavita. And it was now known to them that any place that we went, right away when we left that place, the government was already looking for them there, because they heard that they had crossed the border, I guess. So it was already known to them that these 2 Jews had crossed the border from Poland. And we came to Slavita, on Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul. And we did Yom Kippur Katan there. And we had a lot of fears over there. I can't explain everything that he says. Everywhere we went, they knew that we were from Poland and that we crossed the border illegally. We slept in the Beis Medrash. There was still a mikveh there, so he went to the mikveh. Why did they do that for? I don't know, but they had a mikveh. So I'm just trying to get the right angle here. I'm not used to this camera, so I'm just getting used to it. Sorry. And we collected some money there so that we could travel to the city of Polania, Rav Yaakov Yosef of Polania, that city. And we were scared to go there with the rakevet. Ki sham harakevet harishona me'hagvul. Ki sham harakevet harishona me'hagvul. I don't know what that means. I think there the train goes close to the sham harakevet harishona me'hagvul. Not sure. We were scared to go there. And we bought a wagon. They bought a wagon of a Jew to the Beis Medrash, and we went with him until the city of Shpetoivka. That's also there's chassidim there today, or whatever there was. We had a lot of fears because we were scared. They knew that they were going to find us, and we also found Jews there who were going in a different wagon to Polania with pots and pans they were selling, and we went there. We went with them. But they only went to Sidlikov, the city of Sidlikov. It's interesting to see all these city names over there. So we stopped in Sidlikov, and we went to slept in the Beis Medrash. And also, I was in a house of a certain Maggid there who would go every year to Rosh Hashanah in Uman, but he wasn't in this house at that time when I went there. Then in the morning we woke up and we went to Polania. This was on Friday, Rosh Chodesh Elul, and we were in the Beis Medrash of the Todos Yaakov Yosef, Vishel HaMechiach. I don't know who the Mechiach is, but we know who the Todos Yaakov Yosef is. And we sat in the Beis Medrash. I'm just going to look like this now. Sorry. And we sat in the Beis Medrash. We had a lot of fears because we didn't want to. He would fall asleep and he would just wake up scared every time, somebody caught him. And we spent Shabbos there. I ate by the sheikhid of the city, and Rabbi Beirish, who was the guy who crossed the border with Rav Shmuel Horowitz, went to a different person, went to the river to Taivel, went to Shabbos. Shivu bebeis ha'asurim kol ha'moichari kemach. What? I have no idea what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay, anyway, there's some things I just don't know that he adds on where. His story gets crazier. Okay, fine. And also there, everybody realized that we had crossed the border. But we had Nisim from Hashem Yisbarach and all these places. And even there was a lot of communists there, right? They didn't tell on us, right? Okay, so we were there in the Beis Medrash. We didn't have so much money to go to Berditchev. They wanted to go from Polonia to Berditchev. I mean, they're already getting closer to Uman. And Rabbi Beirish went out to the streets to collect, and I went to the base Kvaris to go to Kivrei Tzadikim. And I went by myself until the edge of the city. Obviously, was still very scared, always scared. In the basic forest, there's a small house there, and inside that house is buried the Mechiach and the Todos, and also other tzaddikim. And I davened there for Rachamim from Hashem, and we had to stay there for a few extra days until we got some money. And then we had to get a ticket, and we were scared to go get a ticket because we didn't know, right? Because we were going to go on this train for the first time in Russia, right? We didn't know the language, we didn't know this. It's very intense, So they took a wagon to the Rakevet, and Rabbi Beirish took his ticket, And we went for a few hours to Berdichev. And we came there at night, Banu Sham Balayla ad Beis HaMedrash Shel Rav Berdichev Zechron L'Vracha. We came to the Beis Medrash of the Rav of Berdichev. Pretty sure I was there. Also, they have the Keva, obviously, of Rav Levi Yitzchak, but they also have an old shul there. I believe we davened in one time when I was in Ukraine a long time ago. So they took us to sleep there, and they said that in the neighborhood there's one Breslover from Poland that married a woman there in Russia, and his name is Yosel Cohen. And in the morning we saw him. We went to the mikveh. We spalalu, and we davened with some Breslovers there in Berdichev. There were some Breslovers living there in Berdichev. Right, because in Berdichev there was a group of Anash, of Breslovers from the Talmidei of Rav Avin Bar Nachman, Zichron L'Vracha. Tzadikim Yireim Ushleimim. And they were very happy to see us. What's it called? And they told us that yesterday Rabbi Hirsch Label Lippel came. He left there to go to Eretz Yisrael. They gave us whatever, that was a different Breslover. They gave us food, and I went to the cave of the Berdichever, and they gave us that night. They gave us all the money that we needed to get to Uman, right? And this was the Wednesday night. That's what it says over here, Lel Dalet. But Rabbi Beirish went to a friend that he knew. And I was alone in the Beis Medrash. I waited and he didn't come. I just waited there on the floor. I locked the door or whatever. I put out the lights in the Beis Medrash, the candles, and I laid myself down under a small bench. And I lay there the whole entire night. And I was like terrified, like we're almost in Uman, this is it, but like still, like they could get caught any second. And then on this day, closer to evening, he came back, and we went on another wagon to the train station. We went on the train, and we went a half hour until the city of Kazatin, until the train stop of Kazatin. Misham Yes Prostika. It's like a switch, like you have to switch trains. So they needed to go off the train for 3 hours and wait for a different train. And he went to the Hafkazel, just like a big hall to wait there. And there was a lot, like thousands of people there. This was like a big exchange, like a big place where different trains exchanged and everything like that. And we went and we laid ourselves down, just sat down on the floor between all these people. And for these 3 hours, like it's impossible to explain what was going through my head, because like they were so scared, because like people were there, they could ask them any questions, they could know that they crossed the border, everything like that. They just basically did not want to talk to anybody. And it says over here that the non-Jews were asking me questions in Russian, and I didn't know what to say. And they said, they would say, "Oh, this is a Jew from Poland," right? Because we were scared, right? And I just made myself like I was sleeping. And he said, and then a soldier came and he kicked me and he said, "What are you doing? What are you sleeping?" So I had to sit up again. Right? There was like a secret police going around there making sure nobody was bad. Oh, sorry, it's just a lot to read. Okay, whatever. There was like very serious people walking around making sure that people were being, good, and it was very intense police activity, and he was scared because they didn't want to get caught, obviously. Until Hashem helped us, and the 3 hours passed, and we went on a different train. It went 8 hours, which makes sense, from Berdichev to Uman. At Shebanu leChrasitinivka, at Shebasi leUman, until I came to Uman. V'gam ha'yisurim ha'bichadim shel chonos yezes yev shel shayr, chol shmona shoyos yisi murach beroishi al berkayim kemayashim. V'lo zasti bevar, I didn't move. And they came to Uman, and we went on foot until we got to the Klois, the old Klois, and they already finished all the minyanim. We came at the time of leaning on the Torah. It was Thursday, and they called us right away to the Torah, and we benched Goimel. And Rabbi Berish, they already knew, right? Only a little bit of the Breslovers knew that I was from Eretz Yisrael. They said, "Oh, this is for sure the Shmuel that we were like praying for." It says in the previous pages of this book and others in the first volume, second one, he was always sending letters to Uman so that he would be able to come to Uman. Right? He was davening. He was asking them to pray for him. So they all knew about him. They never would imagine that he actually would come. Right? And he came. They went to the mikveh. They had big Osiris now because some guy came, from Eretz Yisrael all the way to Rabbeinu, so they went to the mikveh first. It was a minute to go to the mikveh before to go to Rabbi Nachman, all that. And a lot of people came to see us. Rabbi Baruch Hassan, Rabbi Getzi, with his son. She was 11 years old, and they said all together Tikkun Klali. And I did Hishtatos on the Kaver, Vido Dvarim, Asar Kapitel, Vishi Shamar Arab, and I stayed there till the nighttime. And it says over here, now 1 second. We're just gonna read this last 2 pages here, and that's it. And this was the first time. Now he says, "I hope he's like, this is the first time that I was, that I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish for many years, right? Like that I davened thousands of times over to come to Uman, right? Until and I had to go through this whole entire journey, until everything. Hayisi Yari v'chorid, like how did I know I was going to succeed, right? Because I was in Sakana the whole time, and now I'm here, and it's crazy. He was just like he was just very spoiled and everything like that, and at nighttime on the Tzion, Rav Matisyahu came, the brother of Rabbi Yitzhak Gershon Barzevsky, and he took me to the Klois, and he spoke to me, and he told me to come with him to Rabbi Shimshon Barsky. And I gave him, that his son Rav Nassan was living in Lublin. I gave him that he sent regards. And Rav Shimshon Barsky asked me if I already was mekabel my schar nisyasi, payment for my journey. That I was like, what means that he was on the Tzion. And he said, over a story from Rabbi Michli, a grandson of Rav Nassan of Breslov. Shaimer Sha'ad Emtza Tfila Sha'acher Hayud Kapitel Zeschar HaNesiya Vashar Hu Oidef. Said that he was saying that until the middle of the tefillah, that's after Tikkun Klali, that some people say that's like the schar nesiya. The rest is just change, whatever. I'm not gonna go into that now. But Rabbi Matzion Alai, Avul Hutzach schar gadol nesiya, because he needs a big schar gadol because he traveled with Meretz Yisrael. And I ate with them, and then I went back to the Klois. And it says over here, it just explains a little bit. I saw all the people there, Rabbi Tzvi Aryeh, Rabbi Label, Achi, Rabbi Zusha, Rabbi Baruch, Rabbi Velvo Azakim, Mishamash, Rabbi Arfan, Zuchan al-Racha, Rabbi Moshe Mechenes Tachov, Rabbi Moshe Shmuel, Shar Mekar, Misham, Kamdash, Menashim. Like all the big Breslovers are living there. And I went into the Klois, and I slept in the Klois on a bench. And by Chatzois, Rabbi Moshe Mechenes Tachov, and Rabbi Nachum Shister, they woke me up, and I did Tegev Kamti Bezrizos, and we did Chatzois. We went to the mikveh. We were on the Tzion, and this was my first time doing Chatzois on the Tzion, and I was there until the morning. Marbe be avoid. Wow. Here he says that he went to the Klois in the morning. That other people that I saw, like Rav Avram Seifer and Rav Levi Tzuk Bender, I believe. The Kodesh. Then I went back to the Tzion. This is on Friday. Then I went to the mikveh again for Shabbos, and all the Breslovers were there. And I did Shabbos in the Klois. Wow. And that's it. That's the story of how. And you just saw the avoid of everybody that was, all the Breslovers there, of Levi Yitzchak, everybody. And he was very happy to be there. And that's basically where we're going to end this part. So now what happens is that he stays in Uman for a while, and he stays there for, I don't know, 6 months, maybe even a year, maybe 2 years. I'm not going to go through each part that he does over there. It's a whole sipur. But on the way back, I believe he gets arrested and he gets thrown in jail in Russia. So maybe when I get up to there and I understand a little bit more what's going on over there, I will read that here as well. But next week, I hope to start up the regular Siach Sarfei Kodesh and other tzaddikim stories as much as we can do. And I hope everybody has a great day.